Okay, we're back. We're live here on Wednesday in the 4 to 5 block, and you know what that means. It's Energy Day. It's Hawaii, the state of clean energy, and wow, I want to. Well, first we're going to do the news, Larry. That's Larry
Be my
Newman,
guest,
Hawaii
be my
Energy,
guest.
and he's here for the NEGAWATT moment. But you know, there's something really big happened. We
True.
should take a moment and talk about it. It must be buzzing all over town. It's one of those events, everybody gets on their cell phone, you know, and you remember where you were standing when you first heard about it, like that.
Could very well be the case for a lot of people, yeah.
And what is it? Well, a company out of Florida, something related to Florida Power and Light called NextEra is buying. We're not talking about a merger here. It's buying Hawaiian Electric. Now that is something, and it was, gee, there was all this buzz about it, and phone calls coming in, and email and text messages, and gee, we'll have to examine this in our next show. Not today, but you should know that we know about it. Power producers have recently benefited by higher prices set by regulators and prefer the controlled market to the volatile wholesale office market. I'm just reading out of an article here in Reuters. NextEra is going to buy Hawaiian Electric, and they're going to give shares for Hawaiian Electric shares. And they said there'd be no involuntary reductions of Hawaiian Electric's workforce, and American Savings is going to be spun off in a separate corporation. So it's just going to be Hawaiian Electric energy companies. That's gotta have. What comes to mind, Larry? I mean, it's got to be profoundly, you know, transformative. This is going to change things.
It could be. I hope it evolves. I mean, the industry is evolving very quickly, so hopefully it'll help the ratepayers and move the state forward.
From your lips to God's ears, Larry Newman, Hawaii Energy. Well, we'll explore this in greater detail next time we meet. But for now, let's talk about the NEGAWATT moment and talk about your auction project. And,
sure.
And I don't know how this is going to be, you know, related to the news with Hawaiian Electric, but somehow all energy is coming together now.
Well, one of the constants is a change. So even with Hawaii Energy, we're the ratepayer-funded program. So everyone out there who's paying an electric bill helps fund the program. We serve Honolulu, Maui, and Hawaii counties to help people install energy efficiency equipment. And traditionally, it's been through incentives that are offered by the program, but this year we introduced an energy efficiency auction where we went to the marketplace and said, hey, for all you companies out there that do energy efficiency, come to us with your best and brightest ideas. We put aside about 8% of our entire energy efficiency budget for the year to fund these projects, and we selected three companies with 4 projects. 3 of them focused on the business sector, and 1 is focusing on the residential sector. So, you know, I can get into some of those companies and the products and services that they're going to be offering.
We have a few minutes.
But the first one for our business portfolio was a company called IBIS, and they were affiliated with the Energy
IBIS,
Accelerated
the one with the
here.
little plugs.
That's right.
Mike Pfeffer.
Yeah. So, you know, we were looking for companies that can help get the program into areas that it had not reached before, or provide some scale and kind of do what we've been doing, but maybe reach more people. But another area was innovation. So IBIS applied within the energy efficiency innovation area with these plug load monitors. So the projects that they're going to be moving forward with is actually with the University of Hawaii. So they're going to put those deals together with the different universities, Manoa, Windward, and Hilo. And they're going to deploy you know, a couple hundred of these devices, and they're basically going to make a dumb plug, a smart plug, but it is integrated through a mesh network, and they'll be able to control these plugs. So they're going to be able to get energy efficiency savings by turning off standby loads, but also be in a position for the universities to do some diagnostics and monitoring of what's plugged into their
So where's the auction?
So the auction, they basically proposed, all the companies came in with their proposals. They proposed the project, the energy savings, and then what kind of incentive or contribution from the Hawaii Energy Program they were looking for. So we evaluated all of the projects. These rose to the top. A lot of projects didn't really qualify for the auction, but they were very well suited to our existing programs. So we basically took them off the auction path and put them on our existing program path. We had a number of very good lighting
So
projects.
these companies are bidding then, is that what it is?
Yeah, they're competing for dollars. They're competing for the resources that the ratepayer entrusts with us to help lower the cost of energy.
Okay, so like Mike Pfeffer and the IBIS company, they're one of the bidders.
They were, yeah.
And they're bidding in terms of value.
Correct.
Rather than in a conventional auction where you bid in money.
Correct, correct.
So somebody has to examine that value.
That's right.
You do that, Larry?
We had a small group within the program that evaluated them all. And then we put our recommendation to our contract manager, and he agreed with our assessments.
Okay, so he decides ultimately.
Yeah, I mean,
whether
we work for the
whether he
commission,
agrees
so.
or and then the winner at the auction gets money.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like a
not.
reverse auction, actually.
Yeah, it is. And we try not to frame it in terms of winners and losers, because we really valued every company that came to us with projects. A number of them were very viable and good. They just didn't fit into the auction per se. Yeah.
Okay. So where are we in the timeline here? Is it already happening?
It's happening. It's the auction process started at the beginning of our program year, around the August timeframe. We made our announcements of just a few weeks ago, and for the majority of the companies, we've had our initial meetings in getting everything set up. Other utilities, well, not that many, but they have done this reverse auction, and it's been conducted over the course of years. Here, we're squeezing everything into a single program year. Mm-hmm. So right from the start, we asked these companies to step up, provide their proposals so that they could be fully implemented and completed around the May timeframe. So all these companies are on that timeline, very quick.
Okay. So, and the test is, how much value does it provide for energy efficiency in our state?
Yes, yeah.
And now, just for sort of a background, the deal between Hawaiian Electric and NextEra out of Florida is for $4.3 billion. How much are you going to give away in the auction?
The auction value is around about $2 million.
Really?
Yeah, between our residential and commercial portfolio.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was about 1.1 million. It's up to around 1.1 million, because these companies have to go out and get customers, just like everybody else. IBIS was a little bit different. They had some. We asked these companies to come to the program with customers in hand, or a viable plan
you want to
to
see
acquire
them
them.
actually functioning.
Yeah, so we're not just giving them money. This is performance-based. So they're coming with projects. They need to execute that project. It's very much like any other incentive. You've got to get your application in. You've got to get your documents and proof that energy savings was actually achieved. It's not, we're not writing a check today and giving it them and say, hey, go do your project. Thanks for participating. They're on the hook to deliver.
So is it over time? You want to see them deliver, so you make a dollars and cents decision later on down the road. Is that what it is?
Yeah, each of the projects are a little bit different. Another company that was selected is, the name is Matrix, and they're very traditional in that they acquire customers, they implement measures, and that's going to be interesting to see how well do they do acquiring customers, because they literally have to knock on doors and make the pitch, just like a lot of other companies do.
They will not achieve efficiency. It's a nice idea, but they have to achieve efficiency.
But they got to bring them in. They got to do those projects.
Yeah.
They got to bring those results into the program, and then they'll get paid.
Yeah, that's great. How many altogether have you selected?
So we selected three companies.
Mm-hmm.
The third company was Honeywell Smart Grid Solutions. So they're here in town. They know the market very well, and they proposed a residential direct install program. For the residential market, it's going to be targeted to those that have received the smart grids from, the smart meters from HECO. And it's a very straightforward proposition. They go to those homes, and it's basically a direct install. If they see any incandescent lights, they retrofit them out. Low flow shower heads, smart strips, things of that sort. And they're also going to be assessing the opportunity for future prospecting for smart thermostats. So if this home has central air, that's a good candidate for a smart thermostat. That may lead to future potential with demand response that the utility would be interested in, but not quite yet. So we're laying the foundation for synergies across our two roles within the energy space.
So what, do you have any strings on what they're going to do with the money you give them? Are they going to use it for development? Are they going to use it for an incentive to their customers, lower prices? What are they going to use it for?
With regards to the Honeywell proposal, the money is set aside specifically for measures. So there's a little bit of cost for administration and marketing to get the word out, but the lion's share is actually for equipment going into the home. So it is going to be for the lighting. It's going to be for those CFLs, for those smart strips, et cetera.
So you would actually have a hand in how they spend it. You would.
Absolutely.
You would set it up so it didn't go to bonuses or anything like that.
No. And all this was spelled out in the proposal. So this was part of our evaluation. It's real, it's tangible, it's thought out, it's executable. For companies that submitted proposals with a very ambiguous, how are you actually going to go to market, they didn't rate as high as those that did.
So this is a substantial program with that much money involved. And am I right to think that money, say $2 million, I'm rounding it off, is going to go to, what, 3 companies that you've selected?
Correct.
It's roughly 600, 700,000 apiece.
Yeah, and they will have to earn it. So while the award was for, let's say, a couple $100,000 or more, it's not being paid out. It's based on their proposal. So if you came to me and said, you know what, I can get 1,000 customers for you, but the proposal is $100,000. If you were selected and you only came forward with 10 customers, I'm only going to pay you for 10. So we still have to have our contingency plans in place to make sure that we effectively use our incentive funds should these companies not perform up to the expectations of their proposals.
Does it matter, for example, that, I mean, I don't know all of them, but does it matter, for example, that Mike Pfeffer's company is a member of the cohort in the Hawaii Energy Accelerator?
Yeah, that didn't play a role in our evaluation.
It doesn't matter. I mean, if he's getting other money from elsewhere, that's fine. Doesn't make a difference as far as your evaluation is concerned.
No. And the incentive that was part of that they had requested in their proposal was just a portion of the overall project cost. So the UH system is still making a decision to invest in this technology. It's not a free ride, if you will.
Yeah, okay. Well, Larry, you've got to come back and tell us more. This is how long is it going to take to, complete this project, to do what you have in mind right now?
All of these have to be wrapped up in the month of May.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Finished?
Yeah.
All the checks written, all the benefits provided?
Yeah, we're squeezing a lot into our program year, but from the get-go, that was part of the requirement, that you need to propose a project that you can fully execute before the end of the program year.
Are you the program manager?
For the business team, yeah. For the business programs, yeah.
Good. Congratulations on
Thank
a creative idea.
Well, it's a lot of folks went into this. A lot of thinking went into it.
I know, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That's Larry Newman, Hawaii Energy, project manager for a great project and doing efficiency all over Hawaii. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Aloha. Now, the other thing is that we're going to replay the program that we did here in Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, last Wednesday. And we're going to take the rest of our time today to play that for you again. And we'll see you next week here on Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, 4 to 5 p.m. every Wednesday. Right, Larry?
That's right.
I knew he'd say that.
Well, good afternoon. It is Wednesday. It's 4 o'clock. And of course, this is ThinkTech's Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy. And I'm Ray Starling. I am the program manager for Hawaii Energy, who's one of the sponsors of this program. And Jay Fidell, who's the normal host, is not going to be with us today. He's taking some well-deserved vacation. And so I'm here as your host, and we have several guests to talk to today. We're going to answer the question, Hawaii's clean energy transformation, where are we now, and where are we going? My guests for today will be John Rei, who is the Director of On-Bill Financing, or the Bill Saver program now, at Hawaii Energy, and Warren Bollmeier, who's the President of the Hawaii Renewable Energy Alliance. Both of these gentlemen are well-versed in how we are now and where are we going in this energy transformation. But before we get to these two guests, I want to introduce our NEGAWATT moment, something that we do, and Hawaii Energy sponsors this with each show. Our NEGAWATT moment person today is Caroline Carl. She's the Director of Residential and Transformational Programs. And Caroline, it's welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
And we've got you set up a little bit differently. In the past, we've had the NEGAWATT moment spoken off in the darkness somewhere where you couldn't see who the person was.
You tricked me this time.
Yeah, so Caroline is on the set with me today, and she's got some NEGAWATT tips she's going to share with us, and I'll turn it over to her.
Sure. Well, thanks again. I think I've had the opportunity to give the NEGAWATT moment a few times, and today's extra special. It is also the day before a holiday of giving. So today I wanted to talk a bit about our Rid-A-Fridge program, which is essentially Hawaii Energy's refrigerator and freezer recycling program. And what that means basically is that we will come and haul away that old Energy Hog refrigerator or freezer, the one that's in your garage, you know, that working one that you don't really need, that's wasting energy in your house. And we make it really, really easy, as you know.
How easy?
How easy? Well, you just have to give us a call, 537-5577, and we will set up the pickup, the curbside pickup. We'll take care of all of the proper recycling, and then we send you a rebate check, a check for $50 if here in Oahu, or $65 on the neighbor islands. And this season, we actually have the opportunity to donate that rebate directly to your local food bank. All you have to do is check a box on your application.
And that's been a very successful program.
It has. You know, since the launch of this, over $3,000 have been donated to local food banks, and I don't have the exact calculation in terms of how much food that equates to, but $50 is approximately food for 125 meals. So just by checking that box,
wow.
You can donate. Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
It's a pretty great opportunity, and you know, if you want to learn more, just give us a call or visit hawaiienergy.com, and you can learn about, you know, all of our programs. We're not just a rebate giving program, as you know, but we do have comprehensive educational series and lots of opportunities to learn about energy saving.
What would you do if you didn't remember the number that you just gave, but you wanted to do something in the energy efficiency world? What would you do if you were here in Hawaii and didn't know anything about anything?
I think, you know, our name says it all, Hawaii Energy. You definitely want to visit our website. We have information for both residents and businesses to learn about energy conservation, energy efficiency, available technologies, low and no cost tips to saving electricity, even seasonal tips, you know, holiday tips. And that's definitely something that's easily found on our website, hawaiienergy.com. And then you can find the phone number there too, so you can call with questions.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, tell us a little bit about the broader residential and transformational programs.
Yeah, I would be happy to. So, as I mentioned, we are not just, you know, a rebate-giving entity. We really look at the holistic approach of achieving lasting energy savings, and we do so by incentivizing residents to change out old, inefficient equipment into newer, more efficient technologies. And we incentivize those, you know, whether it be for a refrigerator that you trade up for an Energy Star version. We have lighting rebates, so we buy down the cost of lights at local retailers, so it's no paperwork for the customer. They're already getting a discounted price. But more than that, through our transformational efforts, we really strive for behavior modification and giving folks the skills, professional development skills to really better understand energy use in the home, how their decisions affect their electricity bill, and what they can do to save. So again, I'll plug to visit our website, but you'll learn a bit more there about events that we have upcoming. We have everything from series of teacher workshops that are available to the public, to teachers specifically, but where they can receive curriculum that they can bring into the classroom to teach the students and in turn their families about energy saving opportunities. We do professional development, financial analysis classes, and we're continuing to diversify these offers to technical trainings for building managers.
How would you find out about these? Do we send out notices, or do people have to keep an eye on our website for these things?
You know, we have an e-newsletter, and we have 3 e-newsletters. We have one for the business industry, we have one for the residential sector, and then we also have one specifically for energy professionals. So my recommendation would be absolutely sign up for the newsletter. We provide updates about the program. We do highlights on specific contractors that are involved in the program. So that is definitely the best way, I would say, to find out. You can always visit the website for extra information, but we are available to push this information out to you as well, and it's easy, and it's fun to get those emails.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about the program itself in terms of who pays for the program? Where does the rebate come from?
That's it's a great question, and it's something that we get often. We are ratepayer funded, which means every ratepayer, utility ratepayer on their electric bill pays a small percentage into the public benefit fund. And the Hawaii Energy Program is overseen by the Public Utilities Commission, and we are tasked with achieving energy conservation and efficiency goals in line with the Hawaii Clean Energy Initiative. So it is funded by us, for us, and these rebates are available for you to take advantage of and apply in your home situation or business situation.
Good. So if you take part in the program, you're actually getting some of your money back. In fact,
absolutely.
If you're one of the participants, you probably are going to get more back than you put in.
That is correct. And I on a high level mentioned refrigerator rebates, lighting rebates. On the commercial side, we do air conditioning, all sorts of stuff. But some of these incentives are excellent. I mean, for our solar water heating program, we offer a $1,000 instant incentive to buy down the cost of solar water heating. So along with tax credits, that reduces the cost significantly for homeowners.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Well, tell us just briefly how you came to be in the position that you're in. How did you get into this business?
It's a fantastic story, which I think you're a little familiar with, but I was lucky enough to be working on the Big Island with the Kohala Center, which is a nonprofit in Waimea on the Big Island, and specifically dedicated to environmental research and ecosystem health. And we partnered with Hawaii Energy on CFL exchange initially with school groups, also with the Blue Planet Foundation. And so I started working specifically on that. And then as Hawaii Energy really expanded its role and position, there was a full-time opportunity on the commercial side on the Big Island. And that's where I got started about 4 years ago. And it's been one of the wonderful things about working on the neighbor islands is that although you're on the commercial side, you also you play all the roles, because we don't have as large of an office there, but we have representation there and working with all sorts of different groups, from the hotels down to small nonprofits. And so the residential sector really piqued my interest because it was something that I related to quite a bit, and my background's always been, I've had interest in energy. So one thing led to another, and now we've transitioned over to the residential side and get to see all of the great things that I can do in my house and how we can make incentives for them. So.
Great, great. Well, I understand that you might be looking for a junior specialist in your area.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, our program's growing. Our goals are getting bigger every year, and our residential sector, in the residential sector, we're really looking to be innovative, creative, and identify new ways for us to achieve energy savings on the residential side in homes. But that requires work and a lot where our team needs to grow in order to accommodate the growing need. And so we are looking for a junior program specialist to support the residential program. It's guaranteed to be a lot of fun. But more importantly, you know, it really is a worthwhile cause, and our organization has a lot of fantastic folks working for it, so there's a tremendous amount to learn, and I encourage anyone who may be interested to, again, you can visit the website to find out about the available, all the job offerings that are available right now.
Great, great. Well, listen, I spent a little extra time with you today because I wanted the audience to get to know who we are and what we do, and not just hear the NEGAWATT moment. So you've certainly you've cleared the decks on that, and I really appreciate the work that you're doing.
Thanks.
And hopefully you'll be back here soon with some more great NEGAWATT tips.
Oh, I will. It's the holidays, so we've got lots coming up. So thank you for having me.
Okay. Well, good. And in just a few minutes, we will be taking a break right away, and we'll be back, and we'll have our other guests who are going to talk about the clean energy transformation that's taking place in Hawaii, and where we are now and where we are going. There'll be John Rei, Director of On-Bill Financing at Hawaii Energy, and Warren Bollmeier, the President of the Hawaii Renewable Energy Alliance. So stay with us, and we'll be back soon. Thank you.
Aloha, this is Martin Despang, co-host of the Urban Transcendence show by Alejandra Yamashita and Martin Despang. And me being an architect and an educator in architecture, I'm really interested in that we make our urban environment here in downtown Honolulu as exciting, invigorating, and challenging, be beautiful as our wonderful paradise natural environment. We're going to bring in guests from a diversity of areas that help us to learn how we can achieve that goal that shouldn't be that hard to reach. So we look very much forward to see you then. Thank you.
Aloha, hello. My name is Hong Jiang, and I host ThinkTech Asia every Tuesday afternoon at 4 p.m. At our show, we talk about issues that are important in Asia, such as environment, culture, history, religion. We broadcast live, and we're also on Olelo 54. Make sure to tune in, and we'll see you there. Thank you. Goodbye.
Ted Ralston, folks, host of our show at ThinkTech Hawaii called Where the Road Leads, where we talk about technology influencing the future of Hawaii. Technology, of course, is the art of solving problems. We always bring in interesting and informed guests who can see from different perspectives and different points of view how that future might unfold and how technology can assist us in getting there. So once again, join us 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock on Fridays. Ted Ralston, your host. And please, if you have ideas that you'd like us to address on this show, or folks who you think should be on it, let us know.
Aloha, my name is Kenneth Lawson. I'm your host here at Life in the Law. I'm really interested in law as I practiced it for 18 years before coming to Hawaii. I practiced criminal law and civil rights law on the mainland. Now I teach law at the University of Hawaii Law School, William S. Richardson School of Law. And I bring in guests who are very current on legal issues that affect your life here in Hawaii. Come and join me every Wednesday at 1 p.m. as we explore how the law affects you, how the law is changing, and why it's important that you should care about what's going on in your community. See you then.
Aloha, I'm Keli'i Akina, president of the Grassroots Institute. One of the things I love being, however, is the host of the weekly program on ThinkTech Hawaii called E Hana Kako, which means let's work together. I get to interview movers and shakers in our town and across the world so that you and I together can learn and to grow. Please join me every Monday from 2 to 3 p.m. or watch us on the recording, www.thinktechhawaii.com. Aloha and E Hana Kako. Let's work together.
Okay, we're back. This is Wednesday afternoon, the State of Clean Energy ThinkTech show of the week. This is the next session here is going to have our guests that we promised earlier, John Rei, Director of Unbilled Financing, or the Bill Saver Program now, with Hawaii Energy, and Warren Bollmeier, the President of the Hawaii Renewable Energy Alliance. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us today. We have a cross-section of history in terms of where we've been over maybe decades, right? And we've got that's with Warren Bollmeier, and we've got John Rei, who is with Hawaii Energy, and he's come on the scene a little later in the game, but he's following right along in the footsteps here, and both of these gentlemen have been part of a program that's about to be rolled out. We're going to kind of titillate people today and get them interested in this. But before we do, we want to go back and talk about, just for a few minutes, the clean energy transformation that we have going on right now and has been going on. I'd like for you gentlemen, if you could, to give us your thoughts about sort of where are we now and where are we going from your point of view. One of you want to?
Well, you know, when you say energy transformation, I like to think about 1973 with the first Arab oil embargo, and that's when we got
really
all like.
ancient.
Do you remember that? That was maybe before you were born. I forget.
I've been born.
Okay. But you know, it's like we had a big shock, and government actually started to think about maybe we should do something to maybe get us where we don't have to depend so much on foreign oil. So that's led to where we've gotten with a lot of research, and people know about the wind farms and solar, and I've been involved in a lot of these things. So it was always a matter of how fast could we move. So like half my career has been in R&D, and after a point you say, okay, we studied enough already, let's go out and do it. So partly is one reason why I came to Hawaii, to help try to move things along. But there's always been this tension between the incumbent entities like your utilities, oil and gas companies, and so the effort to move renewables and energy efficiency forward has always been one that where the parties are rubbing against each other each time, trying to decide what we want to do. And as maybe a lot of the listeners know, we have very good policy here. Renewable portfolio standards, we have energy efficiency portfolio standards. So everybody agrees on the need, and so the discussion's always been around, well, who's going to do all this, and how fast are we going to move? So you can think, well, maybe we could have moved faster since 1973. Yes, I think we could, but let me just stop there. Yeah.
Okay. John.
I mean, definitely interesting times here in Hawaii as we're looking at how we move forward from this point. And obviously we've got, a host of challenges on how we look at, potentially integrating more renewables onto the grid, the role potentially of LNG, the need to potentially change the utility business model, how we address it from the regulatory standpoints. So an exciting time to be here to work with the parties to figure out the right way forward for Hawaii. And as many people have mentioned before, we really are kind of that tip of the spear leading the way into the unknown, into that 21st century utility business model, that needs to be figured out and how that works. So a lot of exciting challenges ahead, and the nice thing with Hawaii is the fact that you tend to have a lot of collaboration here, even amongst the parties that have different interests, in order to try to find that way forward.
Great, great. Yeah, well, I agree with you. It's unfortunate, it's been since the 1970s when we first started realizing that we had some issues with oil. But where we're at today, it's somewhat chaotic, I think it would be fair to say, but we are making progress. It's not as fast as some would want, but it is movement in the right direction. And I guess one of the things that we've got in the works is what we did call the on-bill financing program, which has a new name. It's now called the Bill Saver program. And both of you have been hard at work on the working group, working in the docket to help amongst all the interested parties to help pull together some consensus and help the PUC make decisions about where this program should go, how it should fit in with the big picture. And so I'd like to hear your thoughts about sort of how did we get here. I think you've started down that road, Warren. But how did we get here with on-bill? What was the precursor to on-bill with regard to what the on-bill program is doing?
Yeah, let me just say
Bill Saver program.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. Let me just say briefly that as we've started to do more renewables, there was a lot of research, and that initially these technologies were much too expensive, and so the good news is over time the costs have come down, and so they're more cost effective, and they can compete more directly with the price of oil, which drives our cost of electricity here. But one of the other factors, though, is some of the technologies such as PV, photovoltaic, are actually somewhat disruptive to the traditional business model of the utility. And John mentioned that, and I think it's kind of an interesting perspective to remember that actually the Hawaiian Electric Company started as distributors of electricity from hydropower and biomass from the sugar mills, and became a vertically integrated company like a lot of the ones on the mainland. Now I think it's generally recognized by people that have been studying this for a while that maybe they need to go back to the future, go back to becoming more of a distribution and a service company. So there's a lot of discussion around that. Now, the segue then to how did we get to on-bill was initially in the legislature, I think it was 2004, a bill was passed to do what was called a pay-as-you-save. And that resulted in June of '06 with the launch of a program called the Solar Saver. Now that was for people to acquire solar hot water systems on their electric bill, and technically it wasn't a loan. You just make a payment, and then over time you pay for the system, but in the meantime you're actually saving, ideally up to as much as 20%. So you can see there's a nice marketing ploy there. So it's like, how could you refuse such a deal? So that was just a pilot program that went away, and then we had the Energy Clean Initiative come along, and things kind of changed. And then later on, I guess 07 or 08, I forget which year, we had an on-bill financing bill, excuse me. And so that passed, and that set up another process that the PUC is in charge of. And so they had direction from the legislature to do this, see if they thought it was going to be cost effective. They determined that it could be. And so for the last year or so, you mentioned the working group, we've been involved in that, trying to figure out the details. As some of the lawyers on the crowd listening in know, the devil's in the details. So we're still working on that, but as of today, actually, we just submitted some comments on the program manual, which is to say how this whole program is going to work, and there's various entities. It includes Hawaii Energy and Utility and some other groups. And so we're kind of excited about the prospect of this finally coming to fruition sometime in the early next year. I'll stop there.
Okay, well that's a good how did we get here. John, perhaps you could talk a little bit about how do we compare with other states? What are other states doing with this bill saver, on-bill financing concept?
Sure. So I think one of the things that really sets what Hawaii is doing apart from some of the other programs that you see on the mainland is the fact that let me step back. Bill Saver talks about two different options. There's an on-bill financing option and on-bill repayment option. And the on-bill financing option is one that has a function that's different from many programs in the mainland, and that's transferability. The obligation when you do the funding of an energy efficiency measure under on-bill financing technically belongs to the meter. And because of that, when one person starts electricity service, they pick up the obligation and pay for it through a charge on their electric bill. And when they stop service, they stop paying. The next person that comes in, when they start their service, picks it back up. So that obligation automatically transfers from one person to the next as they change electric service. And that is...
But the new customer will have the benefit of whatever it is that
Exactly.
the money went to pay for.
Exactly.
Right?
They get the benefit, they pay the obligation. So with a structure like this, where it's automatically transferable, what really matters is the fact that to qualify is really, does that person pay their electric bill? And if they do, and you structure this obligation in a way that what they're asked to pay after the energy efficiency improvement is less than what their current bill is without it, then they should have no trouble theoretically continuing to pay their electric bill if they have done so successfully in the past. And with that kind of structure, you get away from having to look at various financial metrics like a FICO score in order to qualify for some kind of financing to do your energy efficiency, and it falls purely on the utility bill payment history of that potential customer. And that, I think, really sets this apart, where that on-bill financing option that we have is structured just that way, where if the person that wants to participate, they're the meter assigned rate payer, they're the ones who have the electric bill in their name. If they have 12 months, the past consecutive 12 months of successful bill payment history, and they're on a residential or small commercial rate class, that they would qualify. And you don't have to worry about FICO score or debt-to-income ratios or any of the other standard financial metrics that you might look for if you're going to your bank for a loan or a lease, or maybe even a power purchase agreement through a contracting company. So it completely opens up the market to people that would not potentially otherwise qualify for a type of financing for energy efficiency. And it also opens up some additional markets that, because of that transferability aspect, like the rental market, where in this case, if with their landlord's permission, they would be able to have an energy efficiency measure like solar water heating installed. The renter pays for it through that monthly charge on their electric bill. When the renter leaves, that obligation stops until the next person comes in and starts service. And so the renter gets the month-to-month benefit while they're there and is able to walk away at the end when they leave that unit with the property. At the end, the benefit for the landlord, of course, is they have the renters effectively paying for that energy efficiency improvement on their property, and they would have the option the landlord would have the option at the end of that obligation term to buy, it's somewhat like a lease structure, to buy out that energy efficiency improvement and own it at the end of that financing term.
So initially, the Bill Saver program is going to apply only to solar water heaters?
Correct. So
is there anything else that could be included in the Bill Saver program?
Right. So at the start, it'll be just solar water heating. Though we've looked at and small commercial.
Right.
So it's residential and small commercial rate classes.
But other stuff for small commercial.
Right. And there's the opportunity on the residential side to potentially look at things like other permanently installed measures like heat pumps or split AC systems if you had, say, less efficient window AC units in your home and you wanted to upgrade to split AC. Things at the end of the day, there has to be something that, with that improvement, improves your electricity bill. So if you have no air conditioning in the home, we're not going to let you put in split AC and raise your electric bill. But if you have something that's old and inefficient, you'd have the opportunity.
Warren, I know you come from the solar industry.
I'm an all renewable guy.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
But anyway, I just wanted to make one comment about how it really motivated the on-bill type program, and John alluded to it. For years, people know that there've been tax credits, right? So if you wanted to buy a solar hot water heater, if you had the $5,000-6,000, you could go have it installed and you get your tax credit at the end of the year. Well, a lot of people took advantage of that, and then later the utilities started to offer rebates, and then now you do, and other people took advantage of that. So what we're really trying to approach is the people that were not able to take this, let's call it more of a conventional approach, and so it's very, very innovative. But it's not just the money, because while people might be able to get a loan, maybe they want to save that loan for their kids' college education, or maybe they just can't qualify because their credit scores are not good enough. And so John explained how that'll work. So this is really good. And I guess you really had another question for me.
Well, I had actually the question was reflecting on the fact that you came up through the solar business. I know now you have the Renewable Energy Alliance.
Well, actually, I started in wind energy, and I was at what's now the National Renewable Energy Lab. So I did a lot of research in wind and some in biomass.
You're older than I thought.
Well, yeah. I mean, and then I had 7.5 years in the Air Force before that. No, I've basically worked on various things on all the technologies, and so I have not been directly in the business of selling solar, putting it on roofs. But on the other hand, I help. Well, our group, HREA, was one responsible for introducing the net energy metering bill way back in '96, the first one, and then working to keep the tax credits in place all these years, and then so I've been more of a policy wonk. Okay. And a little bit of development stuff on the side, but mostly with wind, not so much solar.
Okay. We're going to take another break for a commercial, and we'll be right back. Not a commercial, but we're going to take another break so someone else can jump on and give their pitch for the next show.
Mahalo for watching ThinkTech Hawaii. We are a channel dedicated to raising public awareness about the importance of technology, energy, diversification, and globalism to the future of Hawaii. We broadcast and stream daily from 1 to 5 every weekday, and we broadcast on Olelo 54 and OC16 TV. All of our shows are archived on thinktechhawaii.com, and we hope to see you there. Aloha.
All right, we're back, and it is Wednesday afternoon. This is ThinkTech, the State of Clean Energy. And we've got John Rei and Warren Bollmeier here as guests. They are talking about the Bill Saver program that is almost ready to be popped out, and you say sometime in the first quarter of the next year.
Right.
People should
quarter.
see this in full steam, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. But when we went to the break, we were talking to Warren a little bit about the folks in his association who are the solar installers and manufacturers. How do they feel about on bill? Is that kind of just another mechanism? Is that potentially going to increase business? Is it going to decrease business? How are they thinking about this now?
That's a good question. Let me answer it this way. Hawaii Renewable Energy Alliance has kind of morphed over the years. So we started out more on the distributed side, and then we had some wind farm developers, and then more recently now we got the big solar project developers. And then in parallel to us is the Hawaii Solar Energy Association. They were originally the guys that put up solar hot water. And after they learned about net metering, now they're doing PV. So those are the guys that are really interested in this kind of a mechanism. And I tell you the main reason why. They go knock on a door, and somebody is really interested again in the hot water system. Says, well, how do I do this? And he explains the loan, like I said before. Well, I probably can't do that, so see you later. So now those solar foot soldiers can go back to those same doors and say, well, now, here's the deal, maybe will work for you. And within the overall concept of on-bill financing, while Hawaii Energy is working mostly on solar hot water, there's other people that are going to eventually want to try to do photovoltaics or PV, right? So, like I said, my organization's kind of morphed, and we have members such as First Wind that's also now doing solar, but they have the wind farms in the islands, and SunEdis and SunPower, the SunPower being a manufacturer, very good solar collectors, but also a system development and operations. So the whole complexion of the industry has just really morphed just in the last several years. And it's kind of exciting to watch on the one hand, like I did earlier. You had a bunch of manufacturers and they all came in with all these wind turbines, and then there wasn't enough market for everyone, and so it kind of sorted itself
Weeded
out.
them out,
Yeah, it's the same thing that's sort of happening now in the solar business, and then of course, as you know, and maybe people in the audience know, there's federal tax credits, but they expire at the end of 2016, and this has been
important.
That with our tax credits has been really driving this market, and I don't know whether you want to go into the problems associated with now trying just to do PV, but the reason why I even bring it up is right now it is difficult to do PV. That business is slowing down, so that's a good opening for the guys that were already doing solar hot water or may want to do it. Then that's something that can go in without having to get utility approval, and so that's a good thing.
And we've
So it is increasing the market. That was your basic.
Right. Yes. Right.
And we've put the program as it's been developing in front of the solar water heater contractors as part of Hawaii's Energy's effort with them with the solar water heater rebate program. So let them know this is coming, and this is another, as Warren said, another financing option that you can offer to your customer base that might otherwise not have other options or finds this attractive for certain reasons.
And then actually options within the on-bill program itself.
Right.
John, can you tell us a little bit about when this thing hits the streets, what is someone to do if there's not a salesperson knocking on their door? What do they need to do?
So much like what Caroline talked to you about go to the HawaiiEnergy.com website, we'll have information on this just like we do all the other things that are that Hawaii Energy offers. And so that will have the portal in there and the information that will allow customers to find out, what is the program, what's the difference between the on-bill financing option and the on-bill repayment option, and also point them toward participating contractors in the program that they could reach out and get quotes from and to start that process. The way we've tried to design the Bill Saver program is to really keep it, from a customer perspective, as simple as possible. And so for the on-bill financing option, it's really, we say it's contractor driven. They're doing a lot of kind of the marketing and the outreach along with Hawaii Energy, and they're even the ones on behalf of the customer submitting all the paperwork, going through that process of submitting a potential customer project for that on-bill financing option on behalf of the customer. Obviously, the customer will get the financing terms and have to sign and agree to them, but we're trying to take some of that paperwork burden off of the customer to make it that much easier for them to do it. They don't have to worry about any of the complexity in the program. That's handled by the contractor and by the program entities. And the customer should have a fairly simple process if they want to do this option. And if they go to the HawaiiEnergy.com website, once the Bill Saver program is launched, we'll have links there that will give them all the information they need to participate.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about what kind of person would want to take part in this?
I think there's several groups that may want to look at.
You should say, oh, he's talking to me.
Right. So when we look at the on-bill financing option, and we're talking, as we mentioned initially, just with solar water heaters, I think the biggest attraction are going to be for the people that may not qualify for other financing options, but they have, as we mentioned, they have good utility bill payment history.
Right.
So they qualify, and they can end up doing this no or minimal money down, and be able to see those savings, on their bill. And so for those people that are looking to save month to month, this is a good option if they don't have the ability to put down cash or get credit another way. As well as, like we mentioned before, something like the rental market, which right now there is no real financing product that can address the fact that you've got people that are coming and going.
Right.
From a renter standpoint, you have what they call the split incentive between what's in the landlord's best interest and the renter's best interest.
Right.
And a program like this where that transferability aspect of this obligation sitting with the meter is what opens up things like the rental market, or even markets like, an example might be, somebody from the military that comes here, buys a home, knows that when they get reassigned, they want to sell that home a few years down the road, and don't want to have to clear, a loan or a lease type of obligation before they can sell their home. This, they don't need to worry about it. They get the savings while they're in the home, and when they stop their electric service and the new buyer comes in, they pick it up automatically. So I think it opens up several new markets where we can, as Warren had talked about, drive the energy efficiency into places we weren't able to get to before.
I just want to reinforce, add a little bit to what John said. You can almost think about the contractors as the boots on the ground, right? They're knocking on the doors. They're trying to make deals. So they start the deal, and in the process of doing that, as I understand it, they're going to do an energy assessment. Maybe you might want to talk a bit more about that. But it's going to tell people, how they could save on their energy. But they're not going to have to fill out that paperwork, right?
Correct.
You guys are going to do it, and then you're going to, help get the application in place, and that helps the contractor too. So it appears to me to be a very seamless thing. It's certainly easier than going to the bank and trying to get a loan. And,
Absolutely. Yeah.
And again, technically, this is not a loan, but over time you can pay off the system. So if you end up doing a non-bill in your homeowner after 8 or 9 or 10 years, whatever it is, then you'll still have another 10 or 15 years worth of that solar hot water heater, and so you'll be saving a lot of money.
It
then.
saves
But
money.
the idea is to be able to save at least 20% right off the bat. Then you're going to save a lot, another 20 or 30% maybe after that.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing I might just say is that we've talked about residential market, renters and landlords. And so these are all part of a category we're kind of defining as the underserved or hard to reach, and a couple other entities that we haven't mentioned are pensioners. And so those are people with not that big of an income, and they may not really need a tax credit, right? Because they're not making enough. So those people could benefit to help lower their cost of energy, and that's increasingly important these days. And also nonprofits, because they can't use a tax credit at all.
Right.
But if an entity comes in as a third party, takes that tax credit to help buy down the costs, then that can reduce their operating costs. So it's a real win-win for, I think, everybody involved in the process.
And one of the things with this structure, of course, is the program owns for the on-bill financing option. the program owns that water heater during the time of the obligation, which means that the program is responsible for all the maintenance costs over that time of that obligation. So from a homeowner perspective, nothing to worry about. You have a problem, you call up, you know, the service number, and we go and we fix the issue to make sure that solar water heater is operating optimally, so that there's no risk from a system perspective for the customer doing this.
Great. Well, we are about to run out of time, and that's not a surprise. I knew that given the nature of what we were talking about today, that we would have to have you back, probably sooner rather than later, to explain this, so that people will be able to jump in line as soon as this becomes available. So I really do appreciate both of you being here today. You both bring a lot of great experience, and thank you so much for working on the program. It's been quite a haul getting from ancient history to today, but we're almost there. We see the horizon now.
Right, you might say this is kind of a legacy project for me.
Yes, yes. Well, Warren Bollmeier and John Rei, thank you very much for being with us, and thank you, audience, for joining us today, and I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving holiday.